The Browns have been sitting on a secret, meticulously crafted $32 million development plan for Shedeur Sanders. Yep, you heard that right. $32 million. Quietly invested, carefully guarded, completely off the radar, until now. And this isn't just some "we believe in you" rookie roadmap. This is a minute-by-minute, hyper-personalized, high-effort quarterback incubation project, unlike anything the NFL's seen before. Because while other franchises are still debating who should call plays or how to handle a third-string QB controversy, the Browns are playing 4D chess with the future. They see it. They know what they have. And what they have might be the steal of the decade. Let's break it down.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
Shedeur Sanders, drafted in the 5th round, came into the league under a haze of doubt and draft day eye rolls. Despite proven clutch play, leadership at 2 programs, and an off-the-charts football IQ, the league essentially shrugged. The narrative was textbook, system guy. Hyped because of his dad. Not a first-round arm. Blah, blah, blah. But Cleveland? Cleveland said, bet. Because while everyone else was busy drooling over the shiny top picks in the 2026 class, guys like Arch Manning, Nuzmir, Drew Aller, the Browns were already planning for life after the draft board hype fizzles out. And Ross Tucker just let us in on the Browns' little secret. They never saw Shedeur as a late-round flyer. They saw him as a franchise piece, a future cornerstone, a long-term investment, and they're backing it with precision. We're talking extra reps after every team session, personalized quarterback coaching beyond the standard staff rotation, exclusive system deepening sessions with offensive coordinators, one-on-one film breakdowns tailored to his unique vision and processing style, leadership development work off the field. And yes, that $32 million figure, that's not a salary. That's an internal commitment. A structured plan designed around top-tier development resources, staff time, support systems, and long-term integration into the Browns' offensive DNA. This is what championship organizations do. And guess what? The Browns are doing it in silence. Because while Shedeur's name is trending, and while fans are arguing over whether he'll jump ship to Vegas, Cleveland has already been building the machine around him. They're not trying to save face. They're planning a takeover. And what makes this even juicier? It's happening at the same time the 2026 quarterback class is absolutely imploding. Let's be real. The media hype machine was all in on Arch Manning and Drew Aller. These were supposed to be the golden boys. The can't-miss, ready-for-the-league, blue-chip picks. Except they're not that. According to insiders, they're stalling, struggling, not separating themselves. NFL scouts are now whispering what some already knew. The 2026 class? It's not what we thought. And that makes Cleveland look really smart. While everyone else was chasing hype, they followed performance. While teams were salivating over potential, the Browns went all in on proof. Because Shedeur Sanders doesn't just look the part. He's done the work. He carried Jackson State through a media frenzy, then elevated Colorado's offense under more scrutiny than any college player not named Caleb Williams. He's shown up in big moments. He's handled pressure. He's adapted systems, led locker rooms, and never once cracked under the spotlight. And now, he's doing it again. But this time, it's in Cleveland, with the entire league watching, and the Browns quietly preparing him to take over. Now, let's get into the real tea here. Why didn't Cleveland just name him QB1 and move on? Simple. Strategy. Because in the NFL, power is perception. And if they came out and handed him the crown, they'd look reactive. Especially with the Raiders breathing down their neck. But what they're doing instead is far more dangerous. They're grooming him behind the scenes. Building him. Arming him. Quietly preparing for the moment when he steps in, and the rest of the league realizes they've been outmaneuvered. Think about it. A 5th rounder turning into a franchise quarterback? That's not just good scouting. That's legacy building. And here's the kicker. While teams like the Raiders are throwing flashy offers and media Hail Marys, Cleveland's got the blueprint already mapped out. A $32 million slow-burn plan to develop a quarterback their way. Without the noise. Without the spotlight. Without the desperation. You know what that looks like? Sustained success. And when Ross Tucker dropped the news, insiders everywhere started shifting their narrative. You can feel the recalibration happening in real time. Because Cleveland might just pull off something NFL teams dream of. Grabbing a future superstar, under the radar, under market value, and turning him into the face of a franchise before the league catches on. The real genius of this plan isn't just the money. It's the timing. They're doing it while Shedeur still looks like a project to the outside world. While the talking heads are still fixated on his last name. While the Raiders are busy making headlines. And when he breaks out, they'll already be 10 steps ahead. It's the classic stealth climb. The quiet build. The kind of long game you only see from franchises who actually want to win. And look, yes, it's Cleveland. The team known for quarterback chaos, missteps, and more jersey changes than a pop concert tour. But maybe this is the redemption arc. Maybe this is the year the Browns flip the script. Not just with talent, but with vision. Because that's what this is, a vision. A bet on character development and grit over buzzwords and ESPN soundbites. And it's starting to pay off. So while everyone's watching for the next viral headline, the Browns are working. Shedeur's working. And come season time, he might just arrive, not as the rookie no one took seriously, but as the quarterback who beat the system. All it takes is one snap, one game-winning drive, one remember when moment. And suddenly, the entire league will realize that Cleveland pulled off one of the greatest quarterback heists in modern NFL history. So here's your homework. Keep your eye on Cleveland. Ignore the draft position. Forget the outside noise. Watch what happens behind the scenes. Because when this plan comes together, and it will, it's going to shake the entire quarterback hierarchy to its core. And Shedeur, he'll be standing in the center of it all. Calm, poised, built for this. Not because the league said he was ready, but because the Browns made sure he would be. So what do you think? Is Cleveland playing the smartest long game in the NFL right now? Or is this a gamble that could backfire spectacularly? Drop your thoughts in the comments, especially if you were one of the people who slept on Shedeur during the draft. Don't worry, we're not judging much. And hey, if you love digging into these deep league dramas, power moves, and behind-the-scenes NFL scheming, hit that subscribe button. Because if Shedeur's development plan is really worth $32 million, you're going to want front-row seats to what happens next. This Shedeur-Sanders situation is no longer just a cool underdog story. This is now a full-blown NFL power shift, happening in real time, and the Cleveland Browns are quietly at the center of it. You've got Ross Tucker out here exposing a $32 million development blueprint that no one knew existed. And suddenly, the whole league is realizing that Cleveland might actually be playing a completely different game. Not Madden, not fantasy football, not PR spin or TikTok thirst traps, but actual long-term, methodical, championship-style roster building. And yes, I know, the phrase championship style and Browns have rarely belonged in the same sentence. Ever. But what if this is the turning point? What if this time, they're not chasing a quick fix or desperately hoping the next draft pick finally pans out? What if this time they already know? What Ross Tucker laid out isn't some random rumor. It's detailed. It's structured. It's layered in football logic and backed by the kind of resource allocation usually reserved for guys already locked into 9-figure contracts. And yet, here they are, investing millions of dollars worth of personnel hours, coaching, analytics, custom quarterbacking curriculum, and extra developmental reps into a guy they snagged in the 5th round. 5th. That's what makes this so wild. Shedeur-Sanders wasn't a top 10 pick. He wasn't the face of draft night. He didn't get the NFL Films slow-mo montage with a dramatic orchestral score. Instead, he got the kind of intro most quarterbacks have to overcome. A mid-round tag. Questions about system fit. Side eyes from experts who probably never watched a full Colorado game. But you know what? The Browns didn't care. Because while the world saw flash and fame from the Sanders name, the Browns saw the frame, the footwork, the resilience, the leadership, the mental wiring. They saw the intangibles. And that's the difference between teams who stumble into success and teams who build it. They looked past the noise, past the nil contracts, past the viral clips and social media reach. And they saw the guy, the player, the leader, the one you can hand the keys to and say, build something with us. Now, let's talk about the level of detail in this plan. Because we're not talking extra workouts and film study encouragement. No, we're talking position-specific movement mechanics tailored to NFL pass rush timing. Play action sequencing drilled until it's second nature. Pre-snap ID breakdowns built into daily meeting routines. Controlled environment red zone simulations to fine-tune touch throws. Even mental stamina drills, designed to train decision-making under duress. This is elite division developmental work. This is what you see in championship windows, not in random rookie prep. And the kicker? They're doing it quietly. They're not announcing Shadur as the guy. They're not building an offense around him yet. They're not trying to sell him to the public before the package is fully polished. They're building in silence, because when he finally takes over, they want it to look inevitable. Think about how opposite that is from how the NFL usually works. Most franchises force the hype. They draft a kid, hold a press conference, slap him on billboards, and pray he lives up to it. Cleveland? They're planting seeds. They're waiting for the moment. Because when it happens, when Shadur steps onto that field as QB1, it won't be a gamble. It'll be a reveal. It'll be the final move in a chess game no one even realized they were playing. Meanwhile, across the league, teams are now reconsidering everything. Ross Tucker's report didn't just stir the pot. It shattered the illusion that quarterback development is a plug-and-play science. He exposed something way more real. That talent, even when overlooked by the draft process, can still be weaponized if you're willing to build the right system around it. And honestly, it's kind of poetic. Because the Browns, a franchise haunted by quarterback ghosts, may have finally unlocked the one thing they've never truly had, a development plan rooted in patience, precision, and purpose. They've tried everything else. They've reached. They've rushed. They've recycled. But with Shadur, they're investing. And that $32 million? That's not just cash. That's a signal. It says, we see it. We believe in it. And we're all in. Now, let's flip this on its head for a second. Imagine you're one of the top prospects in the 2026 class. You've seen your name at the top of mock drafts for years. You've been told you're the future. But then, Shadur, a fifth-round pick, walks into the league and outperforms all of you. Not just on Sundays, but in preparation, in media presence, in leadership, in actual execution. That's not just embarrassing. That's career-threatening. Because suddenly, the NFL stops chasing buzz and starts chasing substance plus system. And the Browns? They're the blueprint. They're the franchise that saw the glitch in the matrix and said, let's bet on the kid no one respects yet. Now, the pressure's not even on Shadur. He's doing the work. He's developing. The pressure is on everyone else who missed. The teams who let media narratives dictate their draft boards. The scouts who overvalued prototype and ignored proof. The analysts who labeled him as a social media quarterback, as if that somehow cancels out actual ability. And now we wait. Because the moment's coming. And when it does, the Browns won't need to say, we told you so. They'll just win. And Shadur? He won't have to prove he belongs. He'll just be there, exactly where he was meant to be. And all of this, the secrecy, the planning, the investment, will suddenly make sense. Because success like this, it's not luck, it's vision. So what about you? Are you buying into the Browns' silent plan? Or are you still waiting to be convinced? Either way, you better keep watching. Because Shadur Sanders is on a slow, deliberate path to proving everyone wrong. Again. And when he arrives, it won't be loud. It won't be messy. It'll be unavoidable. The Browns didn't just luck into Shadur Sanders. This isn't some right place, right time Cinderella story. No, what's unfolding in Cleveland is a masterclass in long-term vision. Because while every other team was caught up chasing the draft day dazzle, the 6 feet 5 inches frame, the cannon arm, the viral combine clip, the Browns looked deeper. They saw something that couldn't be measured in height, weight, or hype. They saw mindset. They saw maturity. They saw mission. And now, they're pouring $32 million worth of resources into making sure that when the curtain lifts and the spotlight hits, Shedeur is bulletproof. This is what separates real organizations from the ones just pretending to be competitive. This is how dynasties start. Let's get brutally honest here. Most NFL teams don't know how to develop quarterbacks. They just don't. They draft a guy, hand him a generic playbook, pair him with a rotating carousel of QB coaches, and pray he doesn't implode under pressure. It's not development. It's desperation dressed up as tradition. But Cleveland? They finally decided to break the cycle. After decades of quarterback purgatory, Tim Couch, Brady Quinn, Colt McCoy, Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, need I go on? They finally decided to do something radical. Slow down. Plan ahead. Build right. And in that silence, behind the headlines, behind the viral tweets, they're building a weapon. Ross Tucker's revelation didn't just expose a development plan. It exposed a mindset shift. Because when you dedicate that much time, energy, and money to a fifth-round pick, you're not just investing in a player. You're investing in a philosophy. The idea that talent doesn't need hype to be real. That development isn't linear, it's customized. That character combines stats. Let's talk about how rare that is in this league. Do you know how many organizations would have seen Shedeur's name still on the board in round 5 and said, meh, must be a reason? Do you know how many front offices wrote him off because of his last name? Or because he didn't follow the typical pipeline of Alabama, LSU, Ohio State? And yet, the Browns said, let's bet on the kid with proof of concept. Not potential. Not raw upside. But actual production. Shedeur didn't just play well in college. He elevated entire programs. Took on media pressure most 21-year-olds would crumble under. Adapted to new schemes, hostile environments, bad protection, and relentless public scrutiny. And still put up numbers. But the best part? He's not satisfied. That's why this development plan works. Because Shedeur's not just talented. He's coachable. He's hungry. He's wired for longevity, not just for a rookie pop. He's not chasing viral moments. He's chasing legacy. And Cleveland sees that. That's why they're giving him the keys to a custom-built quarterback curriculum that goes beyond what even first-round picks are getting. They're building muscle memory, mental toughness, pocket instincts, media resilience, timing mechanics, leadership instincts. Not just to get him ready, but to get him unshakable. And here's the irony. The $32 million development plan that's now going viral, that was supposed to be a secret. The Browns didn't want this out yet. They weren't looking to parade this strategy in front of the league. They weren't trying to generate buzz. They were trying to protect the build. But once the cat's out of the bag, you can't stuff it back in. Now everyone's watching. Every franchise is asking, wait, did we miss something? Answer, yes. Yes, you did. You missed the quarterback who could have been your future. You missed the leader who already thinks like a 10-year vet. You missed the opportunity to develop, not just draft. And what's worse, most of you still don't get it. You're still trying to decide if Shedeur is worth the attention. Still nitpicking stats. Still asking if he's overhyped because of who his dad is. Meanwhile, Cleveland's out here running simulated 2-minute drills in controlled noise environments to build endgame decision speed. They're not wondering if he's ready. They're making him ready. You know what this feels like? It feels like we're watching the second coming of a Brady-style sleeper. A mid-round pick overlooked because he didn't look or talk the way scouts expected. But behind the scenes, ruthless preparation, relentless focus. Only this time, it's happening in Cleveland. And the timing couldn't be better. Because the AFC is stacked. You've got Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Lamar, Herbert. It's an arms race. If you don't have a real QB, you're not even in the conversation. The Browns know this. That's why they're treating Shadur like a startup unicorn. Like something that needs time, care, and a real launch strategy. Not hype. Not pressure. Just preparation. And the Raiders? The Raiders might be the loudest part of the story now, but they're a distraction. A beautiful one, sure, with their $80 million chaos and Vegas glamour. But still just noise. Because what Cleveland's doing, it's not a moment, it's a movement. And when the dust settles and the hype fades and the bright lights move on, guess who'll still be standing? Shadur Sanders, NFL ready, mentally bulletproof, fully integrated into a system that believed in him when no one else would. And if you're thinking, all right, but let's see it on the field first, you're not wrong. But here's the thing. That's exactly what they're planning for. Every ounce of this plan is about making sure that when he gets on the field, there's no learning curve, no rookie wall, no adjustment period, just performance, just execution, just results. So yeah, Ross Tucker let the world in on a secret the Browns were hoping to keep locked away for a while longer. But maybe that's okay. Because now, the pressure isn't just on Shadur. It's on every franchise that thought they had this league figured out. Every draft analyst who said he's not NFL ready. Every scout who couldn't see past the surname. Now all eyes are on Cleveland. And when Shadur finally steps under center, not as a placeholder, not as a project, but as the guy, don't be surprised if he looks unervingly comfortable. Because he's been built for this. Quietly, intentionally, brilliantly. And when he wins, it won't be a miracle. It'll be the plan. So what do you think? Is this the smartest quarterback development move in modern NFL history? Or is it all hype waiting to be crushed by Sunday pressure? Drop your take in the comments. Are you Team Cleveland? Still doubting Shadur? Already buying the jersey? And don't forget to subscribe for more of these deep dive NFL sagas. Because if this is what the offseason looks like, just imagine what week 1 will bring.